This is the injury report presented by NYU Langone Health. Ever since Kobe tore his back in April of 2013, we've seen multiple star basketball players tearing their Achilles tendon. Tyrese Haliburton, Jayson Tatum, Damian Lillard, they all tear theirs just this postseason alone. Is it the shoes? Is it the wear and tear? I have zero clue, but it is a hot topic on social media. So in today's injury report, let's get y'all some answers with Dr. Daniel Kaplan, Sports Orthopedic Surgeon at NYU Langone Health. Doc, thanks for hopping on with this. These dudes have been an Achilles heel in all types of fan bases throughout the NBA, but now they've all torn their Achilles. Let's start with Tyrese Haliburton. Before he tore his in Game 7 of the NBA Finals, he was dealing with a calf strain on that same leg. Could he have torn the Achilles because of the calf injury, and how?
Yeah, so there's a great chance the two are connected. So the back of your leg is made up of an interconnected chain called the gastroc Achilles complex. The gastroc is that calf muscle. So the calf muscle is the motor that squeezes, and then that pulls on the rope, and then the rope pulls on your foot, which lets you what's called plantar flex. So if you have a problem with the motor or the calf, that can put a lot of extra stress on that rope or that Achilles tendon, and that can lead to that increased rupture risk. So this was a while ago, but actually one of the people you mentioned, Kevin Durant, had the exact same thing in the finals. He had a calf strain leading up to it, and then right when he went back in, had the same motion as Haliburton, and it led to an Achilles tendon tear.
So I mentioned the three guys that tore it during this postseason. We saw, again, Kobe back in 2013. You just mentioned Kevin Durant as well when he was with the Warriors. Why are so many basketball players tearing their Achilles? I feel like this is a common injury now in the sport.
Yeah, and there's a million theories as to this. You can go down about 100 different Reddit rabbit holes, which I even did a couple days ago because I was thinking about it also. And there seems to be about three prevailing theories. So one is just the explosiveness and the dynamicism of the modern game. So people are much more rapid and making different sorts of movements than they used to. People like Halliburton are being asked to guard positions of different players. Wings are guarding centers, centers are guarding wings. So you just have to do a lot more movement. That's number one. Number two, you alluded to it, the cumulative workload. So part of it could just be the number of games in season, the Olympics, the in-season tournament. That all puts a tremendous amount of stress. But then it's also the cumulative up to this point. So people are playing AAU ball. They're playing sports throughout their entire life. They're doing single sport specialization since they're 3 years old. That puts a tremendous amount of stress on the Achilles. So even before they enter the league, they might already be starting behind the eight ball with a lot of stress. And the last thing that I think is pretty interesting, actually, Nick Van Exel, Kobe's former Laker teammate a long time ago, brought this point up. Kobe popularized low top shoes, which is great for flexibility and increased ankle motion, but it doesn't support the ankle in the same way. So there is a concern that having that low top gives up that support and might increase your risk of tearing.
And the rapper Cameron, of all people, kind of opened that discussion the other day when he posted about these guys, and like he was saying it's the shoes. A lot of people are saying it's the shoes. So I mean, I think that's something that the Nikes, the Under Armours, I think that's something that they need to start looking into because, again, this is something that's been so common. And a guy, let's take a Kevin Durant. He injured it. He was still able to come back and play at an elite level, but that's a generational talent we're talking about. Halliburton's still kind of young, and he still has a lot of basketball left in his career. But Dame Lillard, he's on the other side of his prime. So could both of these guys still come back from the injury and still be elite, or is Dame, could he be thinking about retirement at this point?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. And there's a couple of variables that you have to consider, and you hit on most of them. Number one is age, and that's probably going to be the most important variable. Halliburton's 25 versus, Lillard's a lot older. So that's going to be a concern and making it much harder to get back. Number two is body type and playing style. So fortunately, both those guys have smaller frames, so are putting less stress on the body. Playing style, though, is tough. So one thing that you mentioned, Kevin Durant, he has probably the best chance of recovering, possibly because he's just an incredible talent, number one, but also two, because of his gameplay. So he's, much more of a jump shooter. He doesn't rely on this sort of quick burst that a Halliburton might or a Lillard might. So he might have an edge in terms of recovering from an injury like this versus those guys. In terms of recent history, the track record of people who have had Achilles isn't great. Kobe Bryant's one we talked about. He got hurt at 34. He was able to play and return for 2 seasons, but not nearly at the same level. Klay Thompson's another one who's been pretty recent. His story's a little different. He had an ACL, and then just as he was coming back from that ACL, he tore his Achilles like the next day. He's been able to come back, but before that injury, he had 5 All-Star appearances. He hasn't had one since. So he's still contributing, but not at the same level. So the jury's out. But if I had to bet on Haliburton and Lillard, Haliburton, I'd say, has a really good chance. Damian, I'm a little less optimistic on.
Man, Dame might have to go back into the booth and restart that rap career because it's not looking good for him right now. $1 million question, Doc, and why the people love injury report. Let's say a non-professional athlete suffered a torn Achilles. What would their treatment look like? Is surgery the only option?
Yeah, so we used to think that, and we used to operate on anyone who came in with an Achilles tear, but that's really not the case anymore. So young patients, elite athletes, people who doing a lot of sprinting, running, still are going to get treated surgically, and I'm going to repair that Achilles. But most people, certainly if you're above 40, above 45, unless you're, very, very athletic and high demand sport, can be treated very successfully non-operatively. So paper after paper has shown non-operative management can help lead to the same rate of return to play, same range of motion, and generally the same strength. So most people that walk into my office with an Achilles tear are generally going to get non-operative management. I usually use as an example of myself. I'm like a 35-year-old, not super athletic guy, and I tell people I would not have my Achilles tears. Most patients look at me and they say either, yeah, I'm look about the same as that guy, I'll go non-op, or they'll say, no, I'm a lot more athletic looking than this guy, give me surgery.
All right, I don't know, Doc. It looks like you give us 20 and 12 out there coming off the bench for the Knicks. Appreciate you hopping on with us for this injury report, Doc.
You got it. Thanks for having me.